30 years ago, Serbia was left for dead. The war-torn remnant of Yugoslavia, bombed, isolated, and broken, was supposed to fade quietly into Europe's past. But it didn't. Instead, Serbia did something no one expected. It waited. And while the world looked elsewhere, to Iraq, to Ukraine, to China, Serbia rebuilt. Slowly, patiently, strategically. Today, it's not tanks or armies crossing borders, it's influence. Serbia is quietly reasserting itself across the Balkans, through trade, diplomacy, media, energy, and culture, in a way that's starting to look like a new kind of Yugoslavia. One without formal borders or flags, but with the same gravitational pull. Welcome to Doctrine of War, where we explore how nations use power, strategy, and history to shape the modern world. And in today's episode, we're asking the question few in Europe want to confront. Is Serbia rebuilding its sphere of influence? And if so, what does that mean for the future of the Balkans? Before we dive deeper, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow, reach more viewers, and continue producing long-form military and geopolitical storytelling that looks beyond the headlines, into the strategies that actually move nations. Alright, let's start where it all fell apart, and where it began again. From ruins to revival, Serbia's post-Yugoslav rebirth. When the bombs fell on Belgrade in 1999, Serbia's fate seemed sealed. Its economy collapsed. Its army was shattered. Its global image, irreparably damaged. Yugoslavia was gone, Montenegro had broken away, Kosovo had declared independence, and Serbia was left isolated, a pariah in a region that wanted nothing to do with it. For most countries, that would have been the end of the story. But for Serbia, it was just an intermission. Because if there's one thing that defines Serbian statecraft, it's endurance. Empires have risen and fallen over it, Ottoman, Austro-Hungarian, Nazi, and Soviet. Yet Serbia always finds a way to survive and eventually to return. And that's exactly what it's been doing for the past 2 decades. Step 1 was stabilization. After the chaos of the 2000s, Serbia began to reform its economy, rebuild infrastructure, and rebrand itself as a bridge nation, one that could deal with both East and West. Foreign investment poured in from Germany, China, and the Gulf. Belgrade's skyline changed. Highways, bridges, and factories rose where ruins once stood. Step 2 was influence. Instead of trying to reassemble Yugoslavia by force, which destroyed it in the first place, Serbia began reuniting the region through economics and culture. Trade became its weapon of choice. Today, Serbia is the largest economy in the Western Balkans, responsible for nearly half of the region's GDP. Its companies, from telecoms to construction, are expanding into Bosnia, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and even Albania. Its banks dominate regional finance. Its energy grids link across borders. Its investments reach deep into neighboring economies that once fought to escape its orbit. And Step 3, narrative. Through media, language, and shared identity, Serbia has been quietly rebuilding cultural unity, the soft power foundation of what some analysts now call the Serbian World. Serbian TV stations broadcast across Bosnia and Montenegro. Pop stars, influencers, and sports icons from Belgrade dominate Balkan culture. And with millions of ethnic Serbs still living outside Serbia's borders, in Republika Srpska, Montenegro, and Kosovo, Belgrade's voice echoes far beyond its frontiers. This isn't nostalgia. It's strategy. Serbia has learned that influence built with pipelines, trade routes, and shared culture lasts far longer than territory seized by force. And this is where the idea of the new Yugoslavia starts to take shape, not as a political state but as a network. A network of economies, loyalties, and dependencies centered around Belgrade. But if you think this is just economic opportunism, think again. Because behind it all lies a geopolitical ambition Serbia never gave up on, the idea that it's still the natural center of the Balkans. The network of influence, Serbia's silent expansion. To understand how Serbia is reclaiming influence, you have to see the map not in borders, but in connections. Let's start with Bosnia and Herzegovina. The country is divided into 2 entities, the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina and the Republika Srpska, a Serb-majority region that operates like a state within a state. Its leader, Milorad Dodik, is openly pro-Belgrade and has repeatedly called for closer integration with Serbia, even hinting at eventual secession. Dodik meets with Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić regularly. They coordinate policies, trade deals, and even infrastructure projects. In practice, Republika Srpska depends on Belgrade for everything from energy to financial support, effectively tying Bosnia's internal stability to Serbia's goodwill. Then there's Montenegro, once united with Serbia in a short-lived federation that broke apart in 2006. Today, Montenegro's politics are still deeply divided between pro-Western and pro-Serbian factions. Belgrade exerts influence through its church, the Serbian Orthodox Church, which remains the largest and most powerful religious institution in Montenegro. When Montenegro's government tried to nationalize church property in 2019, mass protests erupted, organized and supported by the church and backed by Serbia. The government fell a year later. Coincidence? Hardly. That was soft power in action. Then comes North Macedonia. Though ethnically and linguistically distinct, it shares deep historical and religious ties with Serbia. Belgrade has leveraged trade and investment to increase its influence there, particularly through energy projects and cross-border logistics. And even Kosovo, whose independence Serbia refuses to recognize, remains tied economically. Kosovo's power grid, telecommunications, and imports all depend in part on Serbian infrastructure. Serbian municipalities in the north of Kosovo operate semi-autonomously under Belgrade's funding and political guidance, a frozen conflict that Serbia uses as both a bargaining chip and a pressure point. Add it all up, and a picture emerges. Across the Western Balkans, Serbia has built a quiet, interlocking system of dependence and identity. A construction firm here, a media network there, a cultural foundation somewhere else, together forming an invisible structure of influence. It's not a new Yugoslavia in the political sense. It's something subtler, a Yugosphere, as some Western analysts call it. One where Belgrade acts as the cultural and economic capital of a fragmented region. One where decisions made in Serbia ripple outward, affecting everything from elections to trade policies in its neighbors. And unlike the old Yugoslavia, this one doesn't need to exist on paper to function in reality. The balancing act, Belgrade's geopolitical chess. What makes Serbia's resurgence even more remarkable is the tightrope it walks internationally. Because Belgrade is pulling this off while balancing three competing powers: the European Union, Russia, and China. With the EU, Serbia keeps its door open, formally pursuing membership, aligning parts of its laws with Brussels and securing billions in trade. At the same time, it refuses to recognize Kosovo, opposes sanctions on Russia, and deepens its partnership with Beijing. That would get most countries punished. Serbia gets rewarded. Why? Because everyone wants it on their side. To the EU, Serbia is the key to stabilizing the Balkans, a region still haunted by old wars and ethnic tensions. To Russia, it's a Slavic ally and a foothold in southeastern Europe. To China, it's a belt and road bridge into the European market. Belgrade understands this, and plays each side with surgical precision. While the West pressures it over democracy, Serbia opens another highway with Chinese money. When Russia offers cheap gas, Serbia accepts, but then holds joint exercises with NATO's Partnership for Peace. It's a game of balance, one Serbia has turned into a national art form. This balance allows it to expand influence without isolation, modernize without submission, and negotiate from a position of quiet leverage. And behind this strategy is a lesson learned the hard way. Power in the 21st century isn't about annexing land, it's about anchoring systems. Energy grids, logistics routes, trade networks, digital infrastructure. Those are the new borders. And Serbia is redrawing them in its favor. From Bosnia's electricity to Montenegro's ports, from Kosovo's roads to North Macedonia's trade corridors, Serbia sits at the center of a growing web of regional interdependence. And if the trend continues, one question becomes unavoidable. Is the Balkans slowly reuniting, not under a flag but under influence? That's what we'll explore in Part 2, how Serbia's economic power, military modernization, and cultural diplomacy are transforming it into the central pivot of southeastern Europe. Because this isn't just a story of revival, it's a story of return. The question isn't whether Serbia wants to rebuild Yugoslavia. It's whether, in some ways, it already has. The engine of influence, how Serbia powers the Balkans. To understand Serbia's modern rise, you have to start with energy, because in the 21st century pipelines are more powerful than borders. When most of the Balkans depend on imported gas and electricity, whoever controls the flow of energy controls the tempo of the region. And Serbia has quietly positioned itself as the energy crossroads of southeastern Europe. From Russia, Serbia has received MiG-29 fighters, Pantsir I air defense systems, and T-72 tanks. From China, it's acquired CH-92A drones and FK-3 long-range surface-to-air missile systems, effectively giving it the region's first modern layered air defense. And from Europe, it's negotiating for Rafale multi-role fighters from France, a signal that Serbia intends to balance its arsenal, not commit to any one bloc. But Serbia's true strength isn't just in its equipment, it's in its doctrine. The country's defense strategy is built on total defense and deterrence, the idea that any aggression would be met not by rapid escalation, but by making every inch of territory too costly to take. It's a philosophy that echoes its history, a mix of defiance, endurance, and calculated restraint. Unlike many regional militaries that depend entirely on NATO, Serbia trains for self-reliance. Its troops drill in mountainous warfare, cyber defense, and asymmetric tactics, drawing lessons from both Western and Eastern doctrines. The 63rd Parachute Brigade and 72nd Special Operations Brigade are elite formations with combat experience in peacekeeping missions and high-intensity exercises with both Russia and NATO forces. They're known across the region for precision, endurance, and discipline, qualities that mirror Serbia's strategic temperament. And while Belgrade insists its modernization isn't aimed at anyone, its growing military capability serves a clear purpose: to ensure Serbia is never ignored again. Every weapons delivery, every modernization program, every bilateral exercise, all feed into one message: Serbia will decide its own fate. It's not trying to recreate Yugoslavia through conquest, it's recreating Yugoslavia's balance of power. A position where Serbia is once again the arbiter, the center, the indispensable player in every regional equation. And nowhere is that more evident than in Serbia's foreign policy. A balancing act so precise it's become the envy of other small powers. The art of balance, between the East and the West. In an age of polarization, Serbia has achieved the impossible. It's friends with everyone and beholden to no one. Its president, Aleksandar Vučić, plays host to both Western diplomats and Eastern envoys, welcoming EU funding one week and signing defense deals with Moscow or Beijing the next. It's not inconsistency, it's calculation. The European Union remains Serbia's largest trading partner, accounting for over 60% of its exports. Belgrade actively pursues EU membership, aligns many of its policies with Brussels, and benefits from billions in development funds. And yet, it refuses to sanction Russia. It maintains visa-free travel with China. It signs arms contracts with both NATO states and their adversaries. This is not fence-sitting, it's multi-alignment, a strategy tailored for a multipolar world. Serbia knows the global order is shifting, and it's preparing to benefit from it. To the west, it presents itself as a stabilizing force in the Balkans, a reliable negotiator in the Kosovo dispute and a bulwark against chaos. To Russia, it's the last friendly outpost of Slavic orthodoxy in Europe, a partner in energy, culture, and defense. And to China, it's a gateway to Europe's markets, part of the Belt and Road Initiative, with Chinese-built highways, bridges, and factories now dotting Serbian soil. In return, all three powers invest in roads, railways, infrastructure, and influence. Belgrade has turned its small size into a strategic advantage, a crossroads no great power can afford to alienate. But this balancing act isn't just about diplomacy, it's about identity. Serbia presents itself as the bridge between civilizations, between East and West, Orthodox and Catholic, Slavic and European. It embodies the tension and the opportunity of a continent caught between old rivalries and new realities. And that identity gives Serbia something far more valuable than alliances: autonomy. Because while other nations are forced to choose sides, Serbia keeps every door open. It trades with the EU, drills with NATO, votes with Russia at the UN, and partners with China on technology. Each relationship offsets the other, ensuring no single power can dominate it. In a region once synonymous with fragmentation, Serbia has become the balancer, the state around which others must align. The legacy of balance, a new kind of Yugoslavia. So, is Serbia really rebuilding a new Yugoslavia? Not in the old sense. There will be no formal federation, no flag, no single government. What's emerging instead is a networked Yugoslavia, economic, cultural, and strategic, built not through war but through influence. A Serbia-centered region connected by pipelines, railways, language, and shared markets. One where Belgrade's decisions ripple across every capital from Sarajevo to Skopje. And that's what makes Serbia's comeback so remarkable. In a world dominated by superpowers, this small Balkan nation has mastered the rarest form of power, the power to be necessary. It's a model of survival through adaptability, a blueprint for small states navigating great power rivalry, and a reminder that influence, not invasion, defines the geopolitics of the 21st century. The question now isn't whether Serbia can keep this balance, but how long it can hold it. Because every step forward comes with a cost. The EU demands reforms. Russia expects loyalty. China seeks deeper access. And inside Serbia, political polarization and economic inequality threaten to unravel its momentum. But if history is any guide, Serbia won't crumble. It will adjust. It will endure. From the ashes of Yugoslavia to the heart of a new regional order, Serbia's journey isn't about rebuilding the past. It's about redefining power on its own terms. And that's why the world once again finds itself looking toward Belgrade, not in pity but in recognition. Because for all the empires that once ruled the Balkans, only one capital still shapes it. And that capital is Serbia.